The room isn't judging your argument, it's judging your reaction. And when the reaction comes too fast, everyone knows exactly where to push. You're in a meeting. The project is behind schedule. Your boss asks why. You point to the real problem. A few people nod. Then someone smirks and says, "See, this is exactly what I'm talking about." The room goes quiet, and suddenly nobody cares about the project. Nobody cares who's right. They're watching you, waiting to see what happens next. This is where a lot of people get exposed. Not when they're wrong, when they feel the need to repair how they're being seen. The explanation starts, the energy shifts. The room reads it immediately. People don't discover weakness by listening. They discover it by watching reactions. The faster the reaction, the easier the read. Your sovereignty begins at your reaction. In this video, you'll see 4 situations where people reveal their weakness before they realize they've exposed it. And the last one is the most dangerous, because nobody has to challenge you. Nobody has to disrespect you. They only have to learn what always gets a response. Segment 1. The Overreaction Test. They don't need to prove you're weak. They only need to see if you can stand alone. In a work group chat, a decision is already forming. A few people have agreed. The discussion is basically over. Then you type, "I disagree." A few seconds later, someone replies, "Why are you getting so defensive?" And just like that, the conversation changes, not because of your position, because now the room is watching your reaction. You type back. Then again, not to defend the decision, to repair how you're being seen. That's where things start slipping. Because the moment you start defending the reaction becomes the story. The decision stops being the focus. You do. A lot of people think they're protecting their position. What they're really protecting is the need to stay aligned with the group. A decision that needs too much explanation is not a decision. And the more you try to make everyone comfortable with your position, the weaker that position starts to look. At first, it was a decision. Now it's a negotiation. Nobody forced you into it. You opened the door yourself. People don't always challenge what you think. Sometimes they challenge your ability to stand by it. And the faster you rush to explain yourself, the easier it becomes to see what's really holding the decision up. Not conviction, approval. Before you type another message, ask yourself, what did my reaction just reveal? Because if one comment is enough to pull you into self-defense, people stop seeing a decision. They start seeing someone who needs permission. People can tell your decisions still need approval. Into segment 2. The story they keep bringing back. They don't need to create your weakness. They only need to bring up the part you're trying to leave behind. Someone smiles and says, "Remember when he..." The group laughs before the story is even finished. Then they all look at you. And that's where a lot of people get exposed. The story isn't the problem, the reaction is. If you rush to defend the wound, people know where it still hurts. And most people reveal it immediately. You laugh. Not because it's funny, because part of you is already trying to fix it. Before the story is even finished, the defense begins. You start explaining, correcting details, trying to make the moment sound smaller than it was. You are still carrying it. The story might be old. The reaction isn't. The moment already passed. But your reaction drags it back into the room. That's how people read weakness. They don't need the full story. They only need to see what you can't let go of. The more you try to clear your name, the more you keep the story alive. Now, they aren't remembering what happened. They're remembering how fast you broke frame when it came back. That's the real exposure, not the mistake. The speed of the defense. And every explanation points people back toward the wound. The room forgot the story until your reaction reminded everyone it still mattered. So ask yourself, why does this still have power over me? Because old mistakes don't stay powerful on their own. Your reaction keeps giving them power. They stop seeing the mistake. They start seeing the wound. People can tell what still controls you. Segment 3. The dismissal. Some people can lower your status without attacking you, without arguing, without proving anything. A task comes up, an important one, the kind everyone wants completed. But nobody wants their name attached to if it fails. The room goes quiet, people look away, nobody volunteers, you do. I'll handle it. A few heads turn. Then someone says, give him a few years, and the room moves on. Most people don't get trapped by the sentence. They get trapped by the need it creates. A lot of people hear that line and immediately start reaching for proof. Proof that they're qualified. Proof that they belong. Proof that they should be taken seriously. The conversation keeps moving. They're still stuck on one comment. A minute ago, they were focused on the responsibility. Now they're focused on themselves. They stop carrying the work. They start carrying the need to be respected. A minute ago, they wanted the responsibility. Now they just want the room to change its mind. And everyone can feel it. Not because they said the wrong thing, because the goal changed. The moment you chase respect, you lose leverage. Most people don't lose status when they're dismissed. They lose it when they try to recover it. A small dismissal can pull them completely off the task. Now they're trying to prove their value instead of doing the work. The room rarely remembers those words. It remembers the reach. It remembers the need. And that's the part that costs the most. Because if one sentence is enough to make you abandon the responsibility and start defending your value, the sentence was never the problem. The need was. People can tell when your status depends on their approval. Almor. Segment 4. The bait you answer. Some people never try to beat you. They don't need to. You're talking about a goal you've been working toward for months, something important, something real. You finish speaking. Someone leans back and says, "That's why nobody takes you seriously." Then they move on. The conversation keeps going. You don't. Oh, and that's where a lot of people get exposed. Not because they lost an argument. There wasn't one. Because they can't leave the bait alone. The pull appears immediately. To answer it, to correct it, to make sure nobody believes it. Most people think control starts when someone pressures them. It doesn't. Control starts when someone learns which sentence always gets a response. The comment wasn't trying to understand you. It wasn't trying to solve anything. It was checking access. And a lot of people hand over access immediately. The room keeps talking. But part of your mind is trapped inside one sentence. That's the exposure, not the reaction itself, the predictability. He can be pulled on command. And once people discover that pattern, they stop needing better arguments. They start using better bait because they already know what comes next. The faster the reaction, the easier the read. Every predictable reaction teaches people something. It teaches them where your attention goes, and how easily it can be moved. The moment someone can predict your reaction, they no longer need to control the conversation. They can control you. The 3-beat delay. Notice, where did the pull just happen? Pause. Don't explain. Don't defend. Don't answer immediately. Choose. Make the next move because it serves the goal, not because it serves the trigger. Before you explain, before you defend, before you try to repair what was just said. Ask yourself, who is controlling me right now? Because the moment people learn which bait always works on you, they stop respecting your position and start relying on your reaction. People can tell how to control you without saying a word. Most people never lose respect in the moment. They lose it in the reactions they thought nobody noticed. And once those reactions become predictable, people stop listening to what you say. They start watching what moves you. The moment you stop giving those reactions away, other people lose access to you. Your sovereignty begins at your reaction. This wasn't about controlling the situation. It was about controlling access. Because the faster the reaction, the easier the read. And once people can read you, they know exactly where to push. Subscribe to Stoic Calm Code. And if you want to see the reactions that expose weakness even faster, watch the next video. 4 reactions that make you look weak when disrespected. Because pressure isn't where most people get exposed. Disrespect is. That's where the next test starts.